Humanity's greatest dream right now is reaching Mars. Within the next few years, we will most likely attempt to send humans there. But imagine being offered a place on that mission, a chance to become one of the first pioneers to walk on the red planet. At first, the idea sounds terrifying, but it also sounds legendary. Your name could one day stand beside Yuri Gagarin and Neil Armstrong. Schools, streets, and buildings could carry your name, and you would become one of the most recognized people in history. The adventure itself would be unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. However, there is one massive problem. If you go to Mars, there is an extremely high chance that you will never come back to Earth. The reason is simple. With today's technology, we still do not have a reliable way to bring humans back from Mars safely. In many ways, it is still considered a one-way trip. And even worse, scientific research suggests that humans may not survive very long outside Earth's protective environment. A study led by researchers from the University of California examined the dangers astronauts would face during deep space travel, especially radiation exposure. Their findings showed that during a Mars mission, astronauts could receive as much radiation in 4 years as they would normally receive during an entire 30-year career in space. After enough exposure, radiation begins damaging DNA so severely that cancer becomes almost unavoidable. Many people assume the solution is simply making spacecraft walls thicker, but the problem is far more complicated. Astronauts in deep space face 2 kinds of radiation: solar winds and cosmic radiation. Solar winds are dangerous but relatively weak compared to cosmic radiation, which consists of extremely fast, high-energy particles traveling through space. Researchers discovered something alarming while studying protective shielding. Thick armor may block radiation at first, but after continuous exposure, the shielding itself can gradually become radioactive. In other words, the spacecraft walls could eventually turn into deadly sources of radiation themselves, slowly cooking the astronauts inside. Because of this, scientists calculated an optimal shielding thickness instead of endlessly increasing armor. According to their research, adding more protection beyond a certain point actually makes the situation worse. One of their more unusual ideas involves timing Mars missions during periods of intense solar activity. While stronger solar winds sound dangerous, they could partially shield spacecraft from the even deadlier cosmic radiation. In this strange way, one form of radiation might temporarily help protect astronauts from another. Even so, this solution only reduces the danger. It does not eliminate it. Surviving the journey to Mars is only the beginning. Once astronauts land, they still face the reality of living on a planet with almost no natural protection. Earth's atmosphere and magnetosphere shield us from deadly radiation every second of our lives. Mars, however, has a very thin atmosphere and almost no active magnetic field. Without that protection, the planet's surface is constantly bombarded by radiation from space. Scientists believe future colonies would need to be built underground, inside caves, deep valleys, or canyons to reduce exposure. Open-surface colonies like the ones seen in movies would be extremely dangerous places to live. Even if humans manage to protect themselves from radiation, another major threat remains: gravity. Mars has only 38% of Earth's gravity, and the human body is not designed to live under such weak conditions for years at a time. Over long periods, muscles weaken, bones lose density, and the circulatory system begins to deteriorate. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station already experience these problems after only months in orbit. Living on Mars for years could permanently damage the body, even if all other dangers were somehow controlled. Then there is the psychological aspect of survival. Life on Mars would not resemble exploration movies filled with freedom and adventure. Most of the time, astronauts would remain trapped inside cramped underground habitats. No open skies, no fresh air, no natural sunlight, and almost no privacy. Humans can handle isolation for weeks or months, but years spent inside claustrophobic tunnels could push even mentally strong people to their limits. Miners and submarine crews can survive underground or underwater for long periods, but living that way for years on another planet is something humanity has never experienced before. Some people argue that astronauts could simply stay on Mars for shorter periods before returning to Earth, but this creates another problem: fuel. Carrying enough fuel for a round trip from Earth to Mars is incredibly difficult. That is why scientists are searching for water on Mars so intensely. Water is not only necessary for drinking and survival, it can also be turned into rocket fuel by separating hydrogen and oxygen. If astronauts can successfully produce fuel on Mars, then a return mission may eventually become possible. Without local fuel production, returning home would be nearly impossible. Researchers have also proposed more radical future solutions. One idea is to abandon traditional metal shielding entirely and instead create artificial magnetic fields around spacecraft. A powerful magnetic shield could function like a miniature magnetosphere, deflecting radiation away from astronauts. Another possibility involves genetic engineering. Certain organisms on Earth, such as radiation-resistant bacteria and tardigrades, also known as water bears, can survive extreme radiation and even the vacuum of space. Scientists believe that one day humanity may learn to adapt some of these biological defenses for human use. For now, however, most of these ideas still belong more to science fiction than reality. Technology may eventually solve many of these problems, but it is unlikely to happen before the first human missions to Mars. That means the earliest pioneers who travel there may never return. Their names would live forever in history books, and humanity would remember them as heroes, but their lives would most likely end on the cold surface of another world. So after learning all of this, the question remains the same. Would you still volunteer to become one of the first humans to go to Mars?
Thanks so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and keeps me motivated to create more content like this. Also, if you want to be notified right away whenever I upload a new video, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks again for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.